Bonnie Donahue here, and I am super, super pumped because we have an awesome topic and even more awesome speaker, and I just cannot wait to introduce her. She's awesome, 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 and she's like the perfect co-presenter for today because she is literally one of the fastest growing advocates in all of doTERRA. And so I am excited to bring on Beckie Farrant. She hit Diamond in 4 months and 8 days and Blue Diamond in 16 months. And she is like a rock star. She just does everything like to a T. It is awesome. I am inspired by her daily. She knows that. She inspires people on her team, on all of the teams in doTERRA, and our uplines team, sideline team. Like, she just is a huge heart for giving, but also she gets results. And so the topic of today is the pros and cons of building fast in doTERRA. So we're gonna share it all, and I just think that she's like one of the best people to bring on to join the discussion and share all the pros and cons of building fast. So please welcome Beckie. Thank you, Beckie. Yeah. Yeah, there is a little bit of a delay, I think, but we'll just roll with it.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and start the list, and I'm going to see if I can shut stuff down. Okay.
Okay, cool. So, but I want your discussion. So we were just compiling before we got on here some of the pros and the cons. And for those of you guys who are following along, I hit Diamond in 5 months. So not Blue yet, but we have really built our business fast. And from the beginning, we had the decision, like, we're going to do this and we're going to do this fast. And that is, I will say, that is not the typical doTERRA way of building. I would say we are a small percentage that we come in and we build fast. Most people, they start off using the oils and they casually share with their friends, and slowly their business develops, or they don't even know they're having a business, and then it develops into a business. So I just want to say before we even begin that our goal was to build fast. I was coming out of another company and I needed to replace that income. And I just love the idea of building it fast, because for me, to do the same amount of work over a period of time, or to get it all done in a short period of time for the same results, for me, that just makes sense. And I think Beckie would say the same thing. We've had multiple conversations about this. So we have our list here, and we're just going to go over them, but we'll also be open to questions. If you guys have questions, leave them in the comments, and I will read them. Beckie, are you back or no?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, really quick before we, everybody, and I think there are, obviously there's walkers in this business that just walk and just share the oils and continue to be consistent. I think there's some value in that. I think there are joggers that just go at a medium pace, runners who go fast all the time, and then there are sprinters. And I would say I'm a sprinter. I'm definitely not, I wouldn't call myself a marathoner. I would say that they're, what we're specifically talking about now is business or different parts of your business when you're choosing to sprint. So I would say right now I'm not really going at a super fast pace. Stabilized blues. So I would say I'm probably going at a jogging to a running pace right now. But I think it's a pace, and I don't want you to just look at this video that we're doing and be like, well, I'm not Bonnie and Beckie, and this doesn't apply to me. Because I think some of the principles will apply to you. And so whether or not you would call yourself a sprinter or whatever, I would say there are different seasons in your business that it is a sprint. And both Bonnie and I would be the first to say, we don't sprint. We have not sprinted every day for the last 18, 19 months. Seasons of sprinting in our business. And obviously we both started out sprinting because we had specific goals, but that's not where we are. I want you to hear that, because I don't want you to just think, wow, they did so fast, they have nothing to there's no value for me here because I'm a walker.
That's true. Also, they might get someone. So I'm getting echo. They might that wants to be fast. So they need to know how to support them.
Yeah.
Is it still echoing?
It is a little off. I don't know if it's me or you, but it's definitely
It's weird. Let's just
perfect.
keep going with it. Okay.
Okay.
And also to say what Becky said, yes, this might not be for everybody, but doesn't matter how fast or slow you go. Again, what Becky said, you could still use the same principles. Okay. Okay. So the first one that I have written down is one of the big pros about building fast is huge momentum. That's what I put. You've just so much going on. You have so much growth. You have so much energy, and you attract who you are, right? So you're going to attract all these people in your business that also want to move fast, or they really like where you're going, or maybe they do have more of a business mindset. Like if I came to Becky and said, hey, in like, a couple of years, I might be Diamond, you would probably say no, right? But we're doing this fast. Then you're like, oh, I'm doing this too, right?
Yeah, and I would say, and I tell this to all my new people, and my team who watches this is going to be so annoyed by me saying this, but basically I tell everyone that when you start your Doterra business, I give you a snowball, and it's very small. It's like this big. It's about the size of a golf ball. And basically what I tell you to do is go push up the hill. So you are in the beginning working very, very, very hard. And I see a lot of people pushing this snowball up the hill, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And so it feels harder and harder. And then they get to the top of the hill and they're like, I can't do this anymore. And if you just pushed it over the hill, that's all you need. You need literally 2 more inches, just push it over the hill, and then it'll start moving. And that's something that is created. It is not something that just happens by chance. It is getting into massive action and creating momentum on your team. And the cool thing about momentum is it cannot be stopped. So my business right now really has very little to do with me, a lot to do with everybody else doing a little bit. And that's, and so since, February of last year, I've been in momentum. There's been continuous growth happening in my business apart from me. Momentum doesn't happen until other people are doing it. And so if you feel like you're the only one pushing the snowball, then you're not in momentum yet. You're just working hard, which is cool. And I remember being in that spot, right, where you thought it was all about you and you're pushing this up, a hill. And then you realize, once you're in momentum, that it's very little to do with you and a whole lot to do with a lot of other people doing a little bit of stuff. So the quicker that you can get into the momentum, the better your business is going to be and the stronger and more stable it's going to be.
I love it. Okay, good. This echo thing is killing me. Okay, I love that. That is so true. So also I wrote down your story. This is a huge story. So for me, I know I was working for that story, and you were too. We're like, can it be done? I'm going to do it, and I want to show others that it can be done. I'm all about, I really want to do it myself so I can be that example to others. I can show them that it's done, but also, again, it's attracting that right kind of person to you, not just for the oils, but for the business side. I want to show them it can be done. And I know you were working hard for that same story.
Yeah, and I think for me, in the beginning, when you first start your business, you're telling your upline story because you don't have a story yet, which is fine. I started that way. Bonnie started that. We both were telling the same story because it was both of our uplines. So we were telling the same story. And I think for me, when you're first recruiting, you're kind of like telling someone else's story. But I knew that as soon as I could tell the story of success in my life, that the people that said no would be like, wait a second here. Okay, tell me that story again. And so I really wanted that story, and I wanted it to be a very powerful story. And so I was willing to work hard, again, sprinting for a short period of time in order to get to that rank, in order for me to have that story of recruiting, because it's a powerful of a story of recruitment, attraction, when you have the success yourself.
Yep. I love that. Okay, so yeah, I see you talking after you stop talking, but then I keep seeing your mouth move. Okay, so the other thing that the people listening to, they don't have to be a me or you, because we did not have those stories, right? And we were not, we knew we were going to be successful. You don't really know you're going to be successful until you do it. But like what Becky was saying, we use our upline story. So if you guys are on our team and you're listening, you guys could use my story. You can use Becky's story. The Oats, our upline, they hit Diamond in 30 days. We were using that story. Above them is Elise Sedavi, where she hit Diamond in 62 days, right? And now she's earning what, about $300,000 a month in Doterra.
Yeah.
So you can, if someone's listening and they're just getting started, they don't have a story yet, you can use our stories, right? As far as the business, I mean, there's tons and tons of oil stories all over our team and everything. But as far as the business, use our stories as you're creating your own, because that's what we did. The other thing I wrote down is that I think it keeps the excitement high, moving fast, and I think it's a lot of fun. Like for me, having the calls, doing things, having all these people wanting to enroll, I'm like, that is just so fun. It's like energy to keep going versus like slowly crawling. To me, I need that energy. I need that excitement because I'm very motivated by fun. Like Becky knows that, like different things attract different people. I need things to be fun to keep me engaged. And it is fun when you have a lot of things going on. You're talking to a lot of people, you're enrolling a lot of people. To me, I'm like, that's for me. I mean, the paycheck is awesome, which we'll talk about, but that is very fun to me. That will keep me going.
Yeah, which is so funny because neither you nor I are motivated by money at all. So Bonnie is definitely motivated by inspiring people and by having fun. And I am motivated solely by winning. And so for me, it wasn't even about fun, but Bonnie's like, isn't this fun? I'm like, yes, because I'm winning. But for me, it was, I'm a hugely competitive female. And so that was one of the motivations for me. But I think to capitalize on what Bonnie said is when you're going for it with your team members, like everyone's in it together and you feel like you're going after a purpose bigger than yourself and you're all stretching and you're all struggling and there's this team community. And there's just so much excitement. Like people are like, what's your PV and how's that class? And there's just so much more accountability that's happening among your team. And I think it did, when I went for Diamond, it really did bring my team together. And I would say that my team, all my front lines, they know each other and they're friends and they check in with each other. And it's because of that big push that we did, that sprint, that I think that really did establish some really good relationships, even cross-line relationships.
Absolutely. I love that. That's one of the best things about the team, that we're friends with everyone. I think going to convention helps too, because we have so many people that are not like in our hometown. But what Becky said too, so we talked about the Oats hitting Diamond, our upline, in 1 month. And to do that, I was one of their silvers, right? And so let me tell you, that was not easy. We were up to like midnight trying to close the deals the last second, right? But it was not because of my goal. Like I really wanted to help them to hit their goal. And I think that's like the whole team environment. It's like, okay, even though you're like, oh, I cannot do it anymore, I should be sleeping. You're like, no, I'm in it. I'm wanting to help somebody else. And so you're playing a bigger role. And I love being able to say, okay, I'm helping this person. I'm helping this person. Like that is huge. It's not about yourself. It's never about yourself.
Yeah, and this has nothing to do with the topic, but I'm just going to tell you this. If you are a downline, if you want to be a good downline to your upline, I would say stay up until midnight on the last day of the month, unless they tell you to go to sleep. If there's still PV that your leg needs, don't quit on your upline. Please don't quit on your upline, because their goals are important too, and your goals are important too. But if you think you're not going to do it and you quit on them, then they're going to quit on you when you need it the most too. And so I love the fact that I was a small part of Nathan and Jenni's Diamond build, and I was there for the excitement of all of that kind of stuff and watching Bonnie and cheering her on and that kind of thing, even though I wasn't enrolled yet. And then my team did that for me. I did that for Bonnie. And so it's cool because you feel like you're part of something bigger and you realize, the value that comes working together towards somebody else's goals and not just your own.
Huge. So fun. So fun. So one of the things is you learn as you go, right? So you don't have to know everything to get started, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that you want to learn, but if we waited till we learned, till we knew everything, we would never begin. I know I would not even start yet because I still don't know everything. Becky knows way more than me, but I'm like, but we just do it. So you can learn about all the little things and what ifs and this situation. You just learn as you go. So it's like you're getting paid to figure it out at the same time.
Yep.
Okay.
I have nothing to say on that. That's awesome. You covered that one.
So the last thing, I'd say one of the biggest pros, right? And it's funny that we both said we're not motivated. I mean, obviously it helps, but it's not our number one motivator, but it is one of the biggest pros of going fast in your Doterra business, and something that people do not talk about a lot, but you get massive paychecks, right? So it's the income and it's the residual income. I know we do not talk a lot about money in doTERRA, but after the way I work, and I'll let Becky tell her story too, but I hit silver, gold, platinum. By platinum, that paycheck was over $7,000 my 4th month in the business. And then the 5th month I hit diamond, and it was hitting over $15,000 a month, pretty much, every single month from there on out. And that was 5 months into the business. So I could have done the exact same thing, working slow, making sure I had everything perfect. I figured it out and waited years to get that. Or I could have just ran and did it. Now we can bless our team, bless our families. That just totally changed the financial future of your life, basically. So that's one thing that people don't talk a lot about, but that's a huge pro.
Yeah, and my story is I was silver, diamond. So I actually skipped gold and platinum, went from silver to diamond on my 4th month or whatever. And I will say, and this again is free, this has nothing to do with our topic, but I from the very beginning have invested back into my business. So all of those paychecks until I hit diamond was the very took $1 out. Every single thing I poured back into the business. And I think because I established that that's still very true of my business now. So anyways, that was free. But what I will tell you is, and so mine was a little bit different because I had some bonuses. So the first month I hit diamond, I made 18,000, which, a baby diamond is generally between about, I would say 7 to 9,000, somewhere in there. But I had a lot of bonuses that first month. So then it settled around 8 to 9,000. And then it's just, slowly trickled up from there. And then the month I hit blue, I think I want to say it was around 28,000 that month. The first month I hit blue, and I also had a couple of bonuses in that as well. And I will say, that money is not mine. And I know not everyone would agree with this, but I did not do that by myself. And so I try and be very generous with my leaders. I love incentives. I know that not everyone builds their business that way. And a lot of people have major, they think that's negative. And even other leaders in doTERRA choose not to incentivize their teams, which is fine. Everyone does it differently. But I know I love incentives. And so I love giving my team incentives, books or with business resources or helping them with traveling. Both Bonnie and I are sponsoring people in Diamond Club. If you don't know what that looks like for us, doTERRA pays half of Diamond Club, and then the diamonds that sponsor the silver or above pays the other half. So that's another way that me and Bonnie are pouring into the business. And just to speak to Bonnie's generosity too is, there's been numerous occasions that she sent me cases of books to help build my business. She sent me, pamphlets or little A to Z guides, or she sent me just recently, she sent me personal development books. I've never asked for those. These are just ways that she's, pouring into my business. And so those are the things that I try and do for my team too. I just launched a builder. I just sent 32 books to this new builder, a bunch of guides and natural solutions guides and all those. So the diamond paycheck isn't about, me and Bonnie or Nathan and Jenny or anything like that. It's about when you have a diamond above you or near you, they have the ability to be able to afford things that maybe you can't afford. And be able to bless you in ways that you can't. So anyways, that was one of the things that I think has been really fun for my team. I think my team would say it was fun is that, I get to offer fun incentives and I get to do funny because again, that paycheck isn't just my own. Other people helped me earn it. And so I want to be faithful with that and giving it back. But it is, for those of you guys who, are looking at that type of money, you guys are probably, your mouths are probably like ajar, like, oh my gosh, that sounds like so much money. And it is, it's a ton of money. But I know that all of you guys can go there. And so whether or not you're in the beginning or you've been with us from for the last 18 months and you don't feel like you've ever gotten into that, sprinting kind of thing. And we'll talk about the cons and we'll talk about what you need to be prepared for if you're going to do that. I would say there's never a wrong time to sprint. So even if it's just a short amount of time, even if you just say, you know what, I'm going to sprint in the summer because I have more time. And it's going to be a 3-month sprint. And then I'm going to go back to school or back to my job or whatever. And I'm going to slow the pace down. There's never a wrong time to sprint. I would say the best time to sprint is your best time to sprint. So anyways.
I love that. Becky, thank you for saying that. Yes, everything that Becky said. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And some Becky pours into her team. Becky, some of the things that you've done. Are you still there? Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not frozen. You've paid for your people to have personal development, like coaching, and we've flown out to different places. I've flown out. I never did Diamond Club. Becky did, but I never did that. But I've still flown out to several people's, or some of my girls who are not on Diamond Club, I've paid for them. Or if it wasn't covered, or, constantly doing giveaways. Those are all ways that we can bless. I've done incentives for leaders or teams, and you just do different things. But I will tell you, you can do those, but you don't have to, right? So they say to save at least 50% of your income to reinvest. We've reinvested so much, sometimes all of it, and sometimes less. And so like our family's money, like we don't spend this is my business money, in case of emergency or whatever. So I just love that you said all of that. And yeah, in the beginning, you're hustling. I gave away tons of books and diffusers and just whatever we can do to reinvest. Yeah. Or cash bonuses or whatever, some of the things we don't announce, but I love that you said that. And I will say too, that again, I said this in the beginning, that we are not the norm in doTERRA, right? Our paychecks are high, but I would say, and this is what our upline told us too, that it takes 6 months to a year or more sometimes to reach the averages in doTERRA. So I do want to put a disclaimer out there that it could take longer, depending on who's in your team. Like right now I have 2 frontline diamonds. Shelly's the 2nd level diamond, gold. Like we have a huge organization. That's not always the case. Sometimes it will take a diamond much longer to hit the averages, right? So disclaimer out there. So if your paychecks are looking small, you need to get out there and sponsor, get your fast start, right? One other tip that someone says is all of your fast start should be reinvesting back into your business. And that's something we've always done. Cool. Oh, and the other thing too is you could use that money. So, and I know Becky has an assistant. I have an assistant. Like we have a cleaning service. So we've used that money to invest in other services around the house. Like we have a lawn care. We have a maids that come every other week. I have a virtual assistant that does my emailing and does a lot of my back end stuff, my email campaigns, my social media recycling of my posts. I'll write the content and they'll recycle it. So there's things that you could do then to free up your time, so you're not working those same hours, which we'll talk about the burnout and whatnot in a minute. But so it's the other stuff you don't see to make us more available for our team and not like crazy people, that we're more relaxed.
Yeah, and I want to say it's not about being a diva. It's not about us being like, oh yeah, we have this, this, and this. But when you figure out how much you're making per hour, it does come to a place where you're like, okay, what can I get off my focus on my business? Because that's the best use of my time. Yep. So it's not about me being a diva and not cleaning my own house or anything like that. But I know that the amount that I make per hour isn't really worth me cleaning my house when somebody else could do it just as way better than I can. And they're excited about doing it and I'm not spending as much. And so, I would say part of investing in your business is investing in yourself. And for me, and, Bonnie said what she does, I have a virtual assistant. I have an in-person assistant. She picks up my kids. She does my grocery shopping. She does my errands. She does some, social media stuff for me as well. A webmaster for my blog. I have, what else? Did I say a house cleaner? I have a house cleaner. Anyways, those are my four support. I'm sure I have a couple of other that I can't think of right now. But again, it's about being smart with bringing my best to the table. And bringing my best to the table is making sure that some of those other things that aren't as important for my time to spend on, like picking up my kids from school and all those kind of things. Don't worry, I spend time with my children. It's just not during pickup and sitting in a carpool line. But it has allowed me the freedom to not burn out. And so we'll talk about burnout in a second, but I don't want to burn out. And so whenever I feel on the brink of burnout, I'm like, who else can I hire? What else can I get off my plate so that I can show up more fully in my business? Because that is the best use of my time.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So anything else for pros? Those are pretty good pros.
Yeah. I like them.
Okay, so some of the cons, right? Because we want to be real here. It's not just all awesome, awesome, awesome. Like there's a lot of like cons. There's a lot of like crying and stressing out, and you know, it's not all rainbows all the time, right? So you just got to pick: is the work worth it for the pros? And so some of the cons, like we have a list here too. They're not really in any order, but we just sort of mentioned it. But burnout, right? I know when I first got started, literally I was working at least 12 hours a day for the first 5 months. Again, not everyone in Doterra is like this, so I don't want you to think you have to be this. This is just our stories, right? So it is what it is. But I had specific goals, and I said, I joined in September 1st, and I said, by end of January, I will be diamond, right? I had no clue how I was going to get there. I'm just like, I'm going to get there. And, you know, I already said it was silver, gold, platinum, and then diamond. And that last month, so it was January, was the diamond month. Like I knew I couldn't do it by myself, right? My husband works a lot of hours. So I was literally doing this. I mean, we have our teams, right? But as far as what I can do, it was me. I didn't have a cleaning service at that time. I didn't have a virtual assistant at that time. I didn't have any of those things. That was just me running on high all the time, you know? But I did call my mother-in-law in that last month, January. I said, I need help. I said, can you please come live with us for the month? Because I didn't know what else to do. I'm like, I have this goal. My whole family supported me. I told them this is what it's going to look like, but for a while, I'm not going to be available. Like I still did pickup. We still had cross country, and I still did all the things that I could possibly do. But when my mother-in-law came in, I said, take the kids. You're feeding them. You're doing their lunches. You're driving them around, doing all these things. And I said, I'm getting to work. And I locked myself into my room, and I called everybody I knew, and I was talking to everyone, and you know, signing up people and selling those home essential kits. And I think in January, we also, wasn't that the month we went and we launched Shelly too at the end of the month, I think it was. So traveling, right. You know, traveling and just working and working and working. But then that was the last month. And that's, again, it's not always the case, but we had built such a solid team. That was the last month I ever hustled like that. For me anyway. Then I was able to calm down a little bit. And I'm, again, so thankful that I did that, because we had family circumstances coming up where I wasn't able to work that, you know, those same hours. Then we moved. Then we moved again. We'd moved, and I just moved in when I started my business. So we had moved 3 states in like 2 years. And I just don't have the same, you know, capabilities that I did during those 5 months. So I took that time, and I'm like, this is it. And I only focused on my business. I focused on only a few things, and Becky has a good slogan that she will say the 3 things, right, that you can focus on. But I didn't do all the extra things. I didn't talk to family. I didn't talk to friends. I didn't do anything else but business, and you know, and whatever else I could, just for that short time, because I was making that investment into my future. You know, so that was a decision that I had to make. Again, not everyone has to do that, but anyway, now I can do things to help me so I don't burn out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. So one of the things that I always talk about, and I think I got this in the 12-week year, is intentional imbalance. Mm-hmm. So I love that, because what it's choosing, you're choosing imbalance in your life, but it's intentional. And mm-hmm. So I would say that we do this all the time, but we don't call it this. But I told my family, what, you know, obviously this was a family goal. This wasn't just a, you know, mommy goal, mommy hit diamond or mommy hit blue. It was, we sat our kids down and we said, we're choosing intentional imbalance. We're choosing a few things for this short amount of time so mommy can do something. So first of all, I got the buy-in of my family, but I always joke about the fact that I can do 3 things well, and that's it. So if I'm a good wife, a good mom, and a good business person, then I'm 15 pounds overweight because I'm not focusing on my health. Like, balance is super hard for me, although I'm really working on that, but it's a joke in my family. But intentional imbalance is when you are creating the space in your life to ignore some other things. And so, you know, like Bonnie said, like I wasn't, you know, for the friends thing, like I barely talked to my friends during that season. Again, it was a short season, a very, very short season. So let us clarify, like we are not this crazy pace. We have not been running at this pace for 18 months. Like Bonnie had said, I remember last summer too, you know, Bonnie took a break and she was on vacation and things like that. And she said, she would probably tell you she was working maybe 5 hours, you know, some of those weeks because of what was going on in her life. Right now as a blue, I'm working way less than I was as a diamond and way less than I was when I was pushing for blue or pushing for diamond. So again, it's creating a short amount of time, and you can decide what that is, but you've got to make sure you have the buy-in of your family, your husband, your kids, and, you know, make sure that there's like some sort of prize at the end. And we don't need to talk about that, but that I did with my family. But I chose intentional imbalance. I chose to say, okay, there are going to be a few things I'm going to do well. I'm, you know, going to make sure that I'm, you know, going to church and leading my small group. And that was really important to me. I'm going to make sure that I take care of my family, and I'm going to make sure I take care of my business. And that's really the only things I did during that season. And now that I'm not in that intentional imbalance, you know, I'm back to working out and all those kind of things now, because I do have more balance. I have more margin in my life because of the fact that I pushed really hard for a short season of time. Mm-hmm. So anyways, but it's just true. Your life will feel very off balance if you're sprinting in your business, and it has to have the buy-in of everyone around you. And you just have to be aware that this is a short season, but you're making a choice. And so when people ask you, your girlfriends are all going out for a movie, you're going to have to say, hey, no, because right now I'm on, you know, this is my focus and it's a choice I made. Don't let it make you feel bad. This is a short time. It's a small, you know, it's a small sacrifice that you're going to make for a long-term residual paycheck. And so for me, I was willing to make those sacrifices. So I would just, you know, make a list of the things that you are willing to give up and maybe the things that you're not willing to give up, because then that will help you focus during that season.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna add one thing to that too. And we both said it, but I think it needs to be spelled out, because when I first became an entrepreneur, I did not know how to have that conversation with my family or my husband, because I just assumed they knew that I was going to get to work and I was going to not be available, you know, every second of the day. And so as I talked to all these new moms that we're helping bring on board and they're starting their own business, some of the times they're like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. I'm doing all these things. I'm doing a class. I'm doing this. And one of the biggest things is because their expectations were off. So when you have that conversation, like with your spouse, and you say, it will be looking different. Like, I'm going to be doing 2 classes a week or 1 day a week or whatever. Like, I need you to do this, this, and this for me while I do this. You know, you have to just set that clear expectation, because otherwise, you know, not that this is always going to happen, but this has happened where you know, the house is crazy, the kids are crazy, and you're like, oh, I'm doing all these things, you know, you got to go, because that happens, right? Especially at the end of the month. But if you say this is a short sacrifice for the long-term gain, then the whole family can get behind you, support you, and they know it's not going to be like that forever. Otherwise, I see a lot of people saying, I can't do this anymore. So it's crazy. That's because they didn't have that vision, or their expectations were off, that everything is going to look like it does on Instagram, or, you know, everyone's going to have the same results. Because I'm telling you, you know, there is a lot of sacrifice on everyone to get there. And so if you don't want to go fast, that's fine. But if you do want to go fast, this is what it's going to look like. I just want to realize
you're not going to have lots of no makeup time. Your personal hygiene will suffer if you decide to sprint. Maybe not Bonnie. She's gorgeous all the time, but.
Oh man. Okay, so the next thing I have is knowing your pace, and that was something that we sort of talked about, but knowing how fast is fast for you. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah,
and I would say too, I love that she said expectations of your, you know, talk about to your family, but also just talk about what are you made for? What pace it feels most comfortable for you, and then what is your pushing it pace? Maybe for you, your regular pace is walking, and maybe your pushing it pace is jogging. And that's fine. Like, everyone's different. Like, you probably wouldn't have wanted my life, you know, and you probably wouldn't have wanted Bonnie's life when she went diamond. I mean, like, those weren't super fun months when you're pushing that, but just knowing your pace and then knowing what your pushing it is. And so it might be walking or to jogging. It might be jogging to running. It might be running to sprinting. It might be walking to sprinting. But just knowing where you're best suited at, so that you're not, you know, again, you don't have to be a Bonnie or a Becky, and you don't have to even sprint ever if you don't. Obviously, we're telling you some of the pros and cons of both, but just knowing your pace and then knowing your pushing it pace is going to be helpful for you. And I think that will also help your family to also be able to pull you back when you're going too hard, too fast, or whatever.
I love that. I love that. Well, plus, again, this is what I said in the beginning, too, that if I'm going to do the work, I'd rather just get it over with quickly to do the things that I love. So now I'm in a spot, I mean, obviously, we can always continue to grow, but I'm in a spot where I feel really, really good about what I'm doing. Like, there's no pressure as far as a rank, right? I can pour out, I love do my videos. I love the community. Like, we're doing the oil camp right now where every day I'm doing a giveaway. Like, I'm just trying to pour into my team and community. And that's fun for me. Like, that is fun. I don't have to worry about the power of 3, which we'll talk about in a second, or all these ranks or different things, because now I can do what I love. And then that's where I feel like I shine. And so, just, it's, again, knowing that pace. I knew I didn't want to live at that pace, but now I'm loving this pace. I'm doing what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing is the con is power of 3 / filling those holes. So this might not make sense to everybody, but as you're growing the business, that there's the level 1, level 2, and level 3 for your power of 3, right? And Becky actually did an awesome whole video on the power of 3. But basically, you need the right people in the right spots to complete your power of 3 and to duplicate that down and down and down. When you're moving really fast, sometimes you have the people that join you and they might not be the right people or the long-term people, or they fall out, or you're having to fill their spots if they quit. So the con of building really fast is sometimes you don't have the right people in the right spots at the right time, right? So your power of 3 might look messed up. Like, I do not have my third power of 3. So it goes, multiple times down. And I'm okay with that because I hit the diamond. But if I were to only focus on my power of 3, for me, now Becky's business looks different than mine, but I would be constantly filling holes and trying to figure out who to put where. So for me, my power of 3 is very messed up. Now, I might fix that someday, but that's a con that I knew building fast that I wasn't going to have that. And for me, that was okay.
Yeah, and I would say, when you're moving fast, you're making the best decision with all the information that you have in that moment. So you're putting people in places that you think are best, but maybe long term it was like, man, I shouldn't. If I would have known what I know now, I might not have put that person in that spot. So there is going to be a little bit of rebuilding going on when you move fast, where you're going to have to, people will quit and you'll have to fill those spots. I didn't get my 1,500 power of 3 until I was a diamond for maybe, I think my 3rd month maybe, because it wasn't something that I worked on. So, a lot of people are like, oh, wow, 1,500 power of 3, that's a lot of money, which it is. But I will say, if you don't have like a gold organization, I would tell you not even to go for your 1,500 power of 3. I have one girl on my team who was a silver who got her power of 3, but all the rest of them, most of the time it's gold and above. And the reason why is because power of 3 is kind of like filling a leaky bucket. It's like you're plugging things all the time. And if you keep your focus on that and not towards rank, then you're not going to be making as much money. Rank is always going to be higher. And I would say, just being prepared to have to stabilize longer, like for Bonnie and I, we hit diamond 4 or 5 months. And then we spent a year at diamond. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I thought maybe a couple months and then I'd be going for blue in my naive mind. But I think one of the cons also of going fast is there is a longer stabilizing period, because, you're ranking up fast and then you're having to, backfill and backfill and backfill. And so, by the time I hit blue, I was so tired of being diamond because it was like a year of, basically, stabilizing and making it really strong. And, some of those people that started with me didn't make it. Some of those people that were elites, drop out, and then you'll have to refill those spots. But again, that's a reality is, if you go a little bit slower, you might be able to find your perfect, frontline people. But if you go faster, that, you might realize, okay, those people can't go as fast as I am. But you always have choices. You can always build another leg, or you can build underneath them. So there's always options. So I've never felt hindered necessarily by who I've chosen for my front line or any of that kind of thing. But just recognizing the pace of other people, they might not want to go as fast as you. So then you have choices to make in your business as well. So, yeah.
I love that. I love that. So we made it through the list. That is it. Very good. We're getting a lot of comments saying that they love the intentional imbalance. They just inspirational. You guys, do you guys have any other questions for us? Becky, thank you so much. And I think, you know, if someone's listening to this and if you are wanting to go fast, you know, as long as you know what you're getting yourself into, I'm like, just go do it. It is a lot of fun. You get a lot of reward, you know, not just income, but in personal growth with your business momentum, leadership. I mean, there's just so many benefits. And if you don't, that's fine. It will come. You know, there's no pressure. And the only pressure is the pressure you put on yourself. So I hope you don't ever feel pressure from anyone. But alrighty, you guys, that is it. Thank you so much, Becky. I think this is going to be a great resource for everyone to come back to. So I really appreciate it. All right, bye.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right.